Hey everybody, welcome back to Susan Lynn Psychic Medium. It's great to see you again today. I hope you guys are all doing well. And we're going to talk about some politics today. We're going to be talking about Lindsey Graham, Stefanik, Liz Cheney. We're going to be talking about a lot of people because there's a lot going on right now. So the spirit guides, and if you're new to this channel, thank you for joining me. I get my information straight from my spirit guides that talk to me while I'm talking to you. They also talk to me about some other things that I don't like as much, like my diet. But anyway, I digress. So we're going to be talking about Liz Cheney because the spirit guides said months ago that Liz Cheney was going to be the one that was going to make the play for the leadership of the Republican Party. They said this months ago. Okay, it's in the videos. You can see it. And here she is. She is trying to make a play for the leadership of the Republican Party. And I remember me saying back then, this is Dick Cheney's daughter. And we're kind of saying she's the better person to take the helm of the Republican Party, which just goes to show you how far this thing has swung right out of the middle. Because even though Liz Cheney is over here, Stefanik is over here, and McCarthy is over here, right? So it's just mind-blowing, honestly, that they are going to railroad Liz Cheney out of her leadership position. Do you remember that her dad went hunting with someone and shot him by accident? I mean, this is not the family you really want to mess with, but this is the family they are messing with. It's just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So, but here we are. I want to talk about Stefanik for a minute. I forgot her first name. I'm just going to call her by her last name because that's all I can remember. Did you guys know that she has fundraised almost 2 times the amount of money for this particular election, for this year, than she has in the past 2 elections? She fundraised 2 times more in one election than she did in the previous 2 elections. She has raked in $13 million, being the Trump sycophant that she is, right? So this is what caught my eye, and I asked my spirit guides about this. You know, where's this money coming from? Because I got to tell you guys, what's really concerning for me is seeing all these states pass the anti-voting laws. And my God, you know, in Texas, you can now carry a gun without having a class or a license. I mean, they'll haul you to the pokey if they pull you over and you don't have a driver's license. But I can carry my big old gun and never have taken a class on how to use it. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So here we are. How is Stefanik paying for this? Are there really that many people? This is what I want to talk about. Are there really that many Trump supporters that are still opening their wallets and paying money, right? Because the other thing you need to understand is that Biden is got a really high approval rating. And to be honest with you, he has a really high approval rating in red states as well. So something's not adding up, right? If Biden is really doing well, and he's doing really well in red states, then how are they raking in all this money, right? Who's left to pour $13 million into this woman's upstate? She is in upstate New York, so there are some rich people up there, but New Yorkers aren't big former guy fans. So she's really dipping into that pool of those supporters who are willing to really write those checks, okay? So when I asked my spirit guides about this, you know what they told me? I had a few moments in my conversation with them that wasn't about my diet, where I actually had to sit down and really think about it before I did this video, because I was like, whoa. So my spirit guide said that, now I don't have any proof of this, and this is for entertainment purposes only, right? I'm just a psychic. I just talk to guides, spirit guides. That's all, right? But so my spirit guides told me that the money is coming in the form of not local, but in the form of smaller donations. Okay. So, Stefanik has all this money coming in, $13 million, and it's coming in from, all over the country, right? It's not really coming in from New York. It's coming in from Mississippi or Texas or, Arkansas, or wherever it's coming from. Well, let me tell you where else it's coming from. Russia. My spirit guides told me that, they're showing me right now, actually, which I think you guys know this, but maybe not. Russia has people planted throughout the United States, thousands of them, that are working at jobs, marry, you've heard, I don't know if you've ever heard the term honeypot, but that's where they have an attractive woman that comes in and marries an American man, and then the American man, that they're married, right? I mean, she's got citizenship now, so she can vote, she can do all these things, she can write checks, whatever. So what they're telling me is I'm seeing these checks are coming from a lot of these Russian, either citizens or Russians that are living in America. So these checks are coming from Vladimir, somebody out of Scottsdale, $1,000, right? So this is what's happening. It's augmented. It's not real. That's the whole point. I should just do this whole video about how this is not real, because honestly, you guys, I have been kind of overwhelmed and saddened and down about the fact that we can't win, right? I mean, where's the justice? Where is the justice? We're not seeing any justice, and the Republicans are working across the aisle in our Congress, our Senate, and locally they're creating bills that are just freaking crazy. So, I've been feeling like we're losing this battle. That's what I've been feeling like. We're losing this battle. But my guides were kind of helping me out. First of all, they said, look, Biden has a 63% approval rating. 63, right? That's huge. The majority of people feel that his handling of the pandemic has been very good. He has a really high approval rating in the red states. So what we're seeing is not exactly the real picture, right? I'm starting to believe the gaslighting message, right? It's actually starting to get into my psyche, and I'm starting to believe it because it permeates everything. I mean, it permeates all of our news, our social media, everything. It permeates everything. And listen, this is without the former guy even having a Twitter account. The man has a blog for Christ's sakes, and he's still having this kind of control. So I want to tell you something. First of all, we're all right. There's no justice yet. Okay, there is justice coming, but it isn't here yet, and that is true, and that's disheartening. However, other than that little thing, that big thing, the other thing is that this other stuff isn't true. It's not real. This support's not real. If we can get Democrats to go to the polls, we have them outnumbered. There are more Democrats than Republicans. That's a fact. If we can get the Democrats to go to the polls in numbers that we can defeat any shenanigans that the Republicans pull, then we're going to do okay. We do have to stay involved. We do have to stay engaged. We do have to fight like hell in these midterms. We have to. All of us have to. We have to donate. We have to work. We have to volunteer. Make phone calls. Whatever you can do, we need you to do it. Okay? So that is all true. But I do want to say that I feel like overall, overall the whole country, they don't have the support that they're making us feel like they have. They have the power right now in the local legislatures, but they don't have the support. Okay, so I think that's important to know. And I think it's important for us to know that when we start to feel disheartened, because when you feel disheartened, you stop working and you just give up and you feel like that's it. I'm not going to do anymore. It's a lost cause, right? It's not a lost cause. It's not. I'm starting to believe their own lies. Maybe you are, maybe some of us are just starting to believe these people's gaslighting. Okay? So that's one thing. I want to tell you that we do have to work hard. We have to work really hard for the midterms. We have to be engaged. We have to stay engaged. But I also want to tell you there's a reason to be engaged. We're actually doing better than you think. Biden is doing better than you think. Okay? So there's a reason to fight. There's a lot to lose, but there's a reason to fight for it. Okay? So hopefully that makes you feel better about the situation. Now, it doesn't make me feel any better that Russia is sending money to our candidates. That doesn't make me feel better. But if it's happening, what it means is that's fake support. Once again, those aren't voters. That is money. Money buys ads and money can buy voters in a lot of ways. But it's not a true indication of support. Okay, so that's something important to know. Now, let me move on to this dark side cyber attack. We had a cyber attack on a pipeline that takes oil from, say, Houston up the eastern seaboard to the East Coast. And they didn't attack the pipeline, they attacked the computers in the actual management back end of that process. And they held that stuff, the computers, the passwords, the access to the computers, they held all of that for ransom. So we are pretty sure now, and my guides are telling me that they're going to be pointing a finger to Ukraine, but it's not Ukraine, it's Russia. Russia is just going to run this operation through Ukraine to make Ukraine to try to screw up Burisma, the whole Ukraine thing, the whole Hunter Biden, Ukraine thing. It's a setup, number one. Number two, it's a setup also for Biden because gas prices are going up. And we all know Americans cannot vote on gun control or, taxes or anything else, but they'll vote on gas. If your gas is going up to $3 a gallon, they'll go to the polls. It's crazy. But that's another setup for Biden, right? To make the gas prices go up, then Biden's doing a bad job. It's just another way to hit him over the head. So this whole thing is just ridiculous. And Biden is going to put forth an executive order. So he's going to sign an executive order to create some additional funding and support for cyber attacks, especially around this, because we are woefully unprotected, as we all know. We're woefully unprotected. And look, forget a war. We don't have to worry about a war ever again, a regular war. The war is going to be when they knock out our whole grid, when they knock out our banking. That's the war. That's the kind of war we're talking about now. So Biden is addressing this to the degree that he can through an executive order. But again, Russia is involved. Russia needs to go away. And we need to hit them really hard. We need to hit them really hard in their pocketbook with sanctions. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was, and this is interesting, Lindsey Graham. Oh my God. Lindsey Graham said the Republican Party is nothing without the former guy. I mean, when you look at him, it looks like he's holding a proof of life. He looks like he's holding a proof of life. Do you know what I mean when I say that? When they take hostages and they make them have a newspaper with the date to prove that they're alive on that date, that's Lindsey Graham with a proof of life. Like, I'm still alive, but I'm being held hostage by the former guy. That was the look on his eyes. It was like this. The whole freaking Republican Party is being held hostage by the former guy. Now, it's unbelievable, right? I mean, I still can't wrap my head around it. But why? How is the former guy who has no media, he's got no media to go out and, bang his drum on per se. Every once in a while you can call in Fox or OWN or something like that. But he's nowhere near the figure in our lives that he was. So how come he's still in control? Somebody explain that to me. How is he still in control? Guess what? I'll have the guides. I'll have our spirit guides explain how he's still in control. And it starts with an R. Russia. They are literally keeping him alive so that they can use him to raise money. He's a cash cow. And also, if they keep him alive long enough, these other people like, what's her name? Stephanie, whatever her name is, and Kevin McCarthy and Graham and McConnell, they're going to reap this money, reap all these donations, and then they're going to have a war chest. And then when he's gone, they're going to be able to actually put things in process, like actually anoint the new person and run them. And they're just now telling me that, here's the thing, right? Here's breaking news, right? Now, when I say they want to keep him alive, I'm telling you, they're giving him something. It's interferon, whatever that is, interferon. Anyway, they're giving him something, some experimental crazy stuff that's keeping him alive. I'm telling you, the man is in very bad health, and he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this. He would be in a hospital bed, right? So whatever they're doing, they're trying. Some of my guides corrected me and said they're trying to keep him alive. They want him to run in 3 years with DeSantis, or in 3 years, who knows who they're gonna anoint. It could be anybody. You guys, they throw people over the bus every other week. So DeSantis is the guy now, but he might be out next month. I mean, literally, it could be anybody. But the thing that you need to know too is that my spirit guides are saying that's not going to work, y'all. He's not going to. They can't keep him alive. They can't keep him alive. It's crazy that they think they can. It's just like they're telling me Kim Jong-un or Kim Un-jung, whatever that guy's name, Korea, right? He just disappeared, right? They probably have him in a cryogenic chamber somewhere and totally brain dead, totally checked out. But yet they just said, well, he's disappeared, but he's still running the country. That's what they're going to do with Trump. They're just going to put him in a chamber and then say he's still here. And every once in a while you'll hear his voice, which could be a recording. I mean, it's crazy. He's not going to be here. He's not. So then what happens, right? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Russia doesn't really care. They've already done so much damage to us that everything they do from here on out is like extra credit. It's like the icing on the cake. They already got their cake. Anything they do now is extra. So if they continue to divide us and wreak havoc in our country for another 2 years, great. 2 months, great. They don't care. They're always going to have plants here. They just told me. They're always going to have spies here. Always. But those spies have to work very covertly, right? This is actually them using our own people against us. This isn't the spies. This is Kevin McCarthy, right? Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, Lauren Boebert, right? All those people. Those people are the ones that are wrecking our democracy. But they're wrecking our democracy because Putin is helping them, supporting them, providing money, support, all these things. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only, but this is what's going on. So when the former guy is out. I mean, really out of the picture. I really feel like it's going to deflate. I feel like the whole party is going to deflate. Now, what's going on behind the scenes with Liz Cheney? You know what I mean? I mean, she's not just going to roll over. This isn't an Irish setter or a golden retriever. This is a pit bull. You know, this isn't a person that's going to just walk away. They're going to fight. They're gonna fight. So we're gonna have to just see what she does, because she might have to walk away tomorrow, but she's not going away. She's gonna wait till these people implode, and then she's gonna walk in to the empty office and pick up the pen and get to work. And she's brilliant. She's smart. She's strategic. She knows this is all gonna blow up. And Biden is tightening the net. He can't, you know, I was asking them about Biden, because Biden cannot, well, I mean, he can, but it would be silly and foolhardy of him to make one arrest right now. He needs to have all of them. And for that, he needs to link all of them. If he's got 5 and he's trying to get 8, then he's got to wait till he gets the other 3. Because to take the 5, you're never going to get the other 3, right? So he really wants to get them all together. So that's why the net's tightening, and he's not going to prematurely set it off and miss a bunch of these criminals. So it's just gonna take a little while, but he has the goods on them. And then the other thing with Biden is that he is such a centrist, right? He's trying to do the thing that will cause the least harm to our democracy. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, okay, maybe if I just close the loophole so nobody can use it anymore, then maybe I don't have to prosecute these people and let everybody in the world know that our democracy was and is a shambles and really a fraud. And that's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of that. But I think what I hope he does, and I think he's been encouraged to do, is to instead show everybody that our democracy is not a shambles and not a fraud, because it works, because we're going to throw all these people in jail. And that's really what he needs to do. And like I said, I hope that's what he's guided to do. I hope that's what his people suggest he do. Because the energy suggests, months ago, the energy suggested that he was going to be centrist and he was going to be loath to do anything rash. Rash to him is throwing Mitch McConnell in jail. That's rash. Because it really makes you feel like our like you can't believe in any of our democracy. I think they've forgotten. We stopped believing in this 4 years ago, right? But the energy now suggests that he's going to have to really throw these people in jail. He's really going to have to indict them. He's really going to have a court and really go after them. Because the American people need justice. We want to see justice. And frankly, the world wants to see justice. The world wants to see America do to its own people what it does when it goes into other countries. We put people in Guantanamo Bay. Well, guess what? We got some people here that need to go to Guantanamo Bay. And that's what needs to happen. So the last thing I want to talk about, I think, is the vaccines for the kids going back to school. Pfizer just approved vaccines for, I think it's 12 to 15-year-old kids can now get the vaccine. And I'm pretty sure before we go into actual school year, I'm hearing for sure 8-year-olds. I'm hearing it'll go down to 8-year-olds will be vaccinated. Yeah. But what I want to talk about is that, so I asked my spirit guides, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. Really and truly, it doesn't matter what you approve, what vaccination is approved, because what matters is that if you're going to get people to give their kids the vaccination, right? So we already know that you have to be vaccinated for a lot of things before you can go to school. There are some loopholes, like with anything. You can say religion, and then that's a loophole. You can say different things, and there's loopholes to get out of it. But 95% of the school districts are vaccinated and required to be vaccinated for like chicken pox and different things like that. So that's going to be the big test. And what I see happening is, of course, the red states are going to say, no, we're not requiring it. We're not requiring it. You know, they're going to, in all the private schools, the Catholic schools, the Lutheran schools are going to not require it. And you know that the red states aren't going to require it. All the other states are going to be very reasonable and be fine and require it. But here's where it gets interesting. Because when I first asked the question, my spirit guide said, it's going to be required because of sports. It's going to be required because of sports. So in Texas, football is king, right? So if you want to play football, you're going to have to get this vaccine. And then guess what? They're going to get the vaccine. They can fight it. I mean, there are loopholes. But this went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it actually happened in the state of Kentucky. Because after my guides said it's going to happen through sports, I thought, gosh, I don't think that can happen. You know, I always question them, right? And then they prove me wrong. Well, because they're guides and I'm human. But I looked it up, and it's true. This was protested, of course, in all places, Kentucky. And Kentucky took it to the Kentucky State Supreme Court, and then it went up to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court says you have to protect other students. It's the onus is on you. You have to get vaccinated because you can put other people in harm's way. So here we go. How this is going to go over the hump in Texas and other red states is that the governing board of the sports, whatever that is, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a governing board that, when you want to go play any sport, they make you go get a physician's exam. I mean, that's required. So when you go get that physician's exam, you're going to get a vaccine because it's going to be required. So that's how it's going to happen over here in Redland, right? Which I think is really interesting because that's the one area where they won't fight. You know what I mean? For their kids to participate in sports, they'll do anything. They'll pay anything. They'll do anything. So that is the one way that we're going to get the vaccination out into the schools. Once you have to have it for all of those sports and or extramural, like I think they're telling me right now, like even drama or choir. Choir's a big thing. They did that whole study of people singing and how the virus was just going way out, right? So choir is going to be one of those things as well. Once you start having these extracurricular activities requiring it, then the schools will just fall in line and the students will be vaccinated. I think it's safe. My guides tell me it's safe. I don't see any problems with it. I would vaccinate my kids if I had kids that were school age and whatever. I would do that. I totally believe it's safe. So I don't think there's any worries about that at all. And I think that if you're worried about your kid going back to school because there aren't vaccinations, you don't have to worry about that, because I think between now and August, September, you're going to see some big changes in that arena, and it's going to be led by the sports part of the whole equation, which I think is just funny. What else do I have to tell you that the guides want me to talk about? The guides do want to talk about self-care a little bit. So we have been through hell. We have been through hell, you guys, all of us. And we're not thinking rationally. I promise you. I caught myself doing something really strange the other day that I know is not me. So I know that that I'm not thinking as engaged maybe as I normally am. So we have to cut ourselves some slack. We need to take care of ourselves, because when you take care of yourselves, you raise your vibration. When you raise your vibration, everybody you come into contact with gets their vibration raised. So if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Do it for your planet. Do it for your city, your community. Because just by taking care of yourself, you're going to smile more. You're going to be happier. You're going to feel better. And then that raises everybody's vibration. Okay? So take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Do some deep breathing. Get out in nature. Plan a little trip outside of your home, outside of your hometown. Get out of Dodge, right? So hopefully that will help you as well. I'm going to also mention my class again. I have a class I'm teaching with Kim, Medium Kim Copeland. She's on YouTube. You just Google or go to YouTube and type in Medium Kim, all one word, you'll find her channel. She's amazing, and she's an amazing teacher. So we are co-teaching a class on psychic abilities. Now, you don't have to take this class and become a psychic. You can take this class and become more intuitive. And let me tell you, intuition is important. It can help you know to not take the subway that day. It can help you know to bring the umbrella. It can help you to know which house to buy. It can help you to know which person to date. It really comes in handy. Being able to really tap into our own energy, right? And learn how that feels. And then when you meet somebody, you can actually feel it. You know, is that good for me or bad for me, right? So it's really an interesting class. If you are interested in becoming psychic, it's going to help you do that. We're going to talk about all the clairaudience, and I'm hooked up to my guides right now, so I don't have access to my normal vocabulary. They want to say the crazy ones. There's like clair smelling, clair tasting, hearing, feeling, seeing. Okay, so clairsentient. I can't think of the actual things. They're funny, and they want me to say the one that is the really weird. I think it's clairalliance. It's clairalliance. They want me to say that one instead of clairvoyance. Everybody's heard of clairvoyance. Everybody. You're clairvoyant, aren't you? Well, yes, I am actually. But who's heard of clairalliance? They're so crazy, y'all. But anyway, you could spend 5 weeks with me hearing about my guides and me teaching you about that. So hopefully you'll consider it. I will leave the link in the description box below this video. You can check it out. It starts on Wednesday the 26th. It goes for 5 weeks. And we're going to have other classes as well. So if the dates don't make sense or it doesn't work for you, stay tuned. We're going to have more. So listen, I hope this helps you. I want to leave you with the fact that we're going to pull through this, right? I mean, it just looks scary and ugly out there right now to me, maybe to you as well. But we're going to pull through this. Biden has a really high approval rating. Whenever you start freaking out, just look at his approval rating. That does not lie. There's a lot of Republicans that must be approving of him for him to have that approval rating. Okay, so it doesn't mean we don't have to fight for the midterms. Please don't get me wrong. We have to fight like crazy. We have to fight like crazy because they're not fighting fair. They're not playing fair. But it does mean that you can know that we're fighting for something that has a really good chance, right? Don't give up because you don't feel like there's any chance. We have a really good chance of gaining more seats, okay? So that's the positive news. That's the good news here. I'm going to also, I just saw they just showed me Lauren Boebert with her boots, with her cowboy boots and dress or something. I don't know. How did we get here? Anyway, scandal. They gave me the word scandal. Scandal with Lauren Boebert. Scandal with Lauren Boebert. Yeah. Scandal's coming. Red alert. So anyway, that's something to look forward to, right? That's something good to get up. That's a reason to get up in the morning. Listen, I really appreciate you spending this time with me. I am very grateful to each and every one of you. I hope that you will subscribe because you'll for sure see my video instead of maybe seeing my video. If you don't subscribe, it's a hit and miss kind of thing. And I would love to hang out with you more. So thank you so much, everybody. You guys all take care. I'm sending you big blessings and love. I'll see you next time.